Get some Instagram going.
No parts to show off today.
Wow. I feel naked up here. I think everything's up.
Yeah, I'm gonna verify. So I don't have to repeat myself.
Right. Is Instagram up?
Instagram's up.
Cool.
All right, welcome everybody.
Sorry, we have this like Q&A session internally every time we start up because it's all of these platforms have very poor methods of telling you you're actually displaying yourself to people. So, all right, I think we're up on everything.
All right, so welcome. This is episode number 75, 034 Motorsport live Q&A. I'm Javad Shadzi, the president, CEO, and founder of 034 Motorsport, and this is Nate Stewart. And technically one of the founders, and director of engineering and all things software development.
Yeah.
And magic.
Should probably be director of software engineering at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's true. So, question and answer, ask us anything. 034 Motorsport products and services, about our history. You want our opinion, our philosophy. You want us to weigh in on the most controversial automotive debate you can imagine. Bring it to us.
Yep.
We like to take a no BS approach to how we respond, and I think we have a pretty good track record of not being blatantly false about anything that we've said. So, just got back from SEMA last week. See, there's still not a lot of questions. So, put your questions into whatever browser or social media platform you're on, and we'll be happy to get to those. But yeah, we were at SEMA last week. I guess we kind of debuted our S4 T, which is our B8.5 S4 with a 4 T engine swap. Currently, it's basically stockish power.
Yeah. We're working out getting it integrated into the B8. Obviously takes some work to get everything working. The sport diff is working. The TCU is happy.
It drives, it shifts.
Drives, shifts, does all the things it should.
Makes 400 wheel or something.
Yep. It's stock. Yeah, basically stock 4-liter calibration, which is
Really great power,
Yep.
man. Just
good for that chassis for sure. Yeah.
out of a stock motor.
Yep. So
And that's with test pipes.
that was with that had test pipes on.
So not completely stock, but pretty close. And an AWE exhaust on it.
Yeah.
Is that what we ended?
Yeah, we slightly modified it to make it work with the downpipe hookup, but yeah.
So, anyways.
In our heat exchanger, I guess.
Yeah.
List the mods and intake.
Yeah, it's got a couple mods, but mostly stock.
Yeah. Calibration's
Had the back
stock
seat.
power. It has a back seat.
Back seat and a passenger
It
seat.
has all the seats, all the windows.
That gives you like 500 horsepower if you take those out. So
There was still,
drop like 5 seconds.
Still people in the B9 groups calling it like our drag runs like a cheater run. I was reading this weekend. It's like, oh.
Really? It's not a cheater run. It's an exhibition run, which is what every other tuning company.
Apparently, it's meaningless that we did it with no
integrated engineering, APR, Unitronic, IROS. They all do it.
Individual that goes out and tries to run a quick time.
I think the only issue is when you don't say what you did.
Which is I guess we just talk about it too much. And
Maybe we're too transparent.
People assume we're the only ones that did that. Like,
and we also ran full weight.
Yeah.
11.24.
Right. And actually, that was before I think we did a couple of further TCU refinements. I think it even is a little quicker than that now.
And then a customer ran an 11.36 full weight on our 93 file.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much
without the new TCU tune coming up, which shaves a good bit off that time too. So I mean,
our tune's fast, guys. I mean, you can like call whatever BS you want.
I think we've pretty thoroughly established that it's the quickest stock turbo tune at this point.
It's absolutely the fastest. It's very consistent, very reliable, very smooth, very powerful. Yeah. So, I mean, it's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like people say, oh, well, you didn't provide any data. So you go out and get data and you do full stock, you do light, you do wheels and tires, you do, and you disclose everything and then people criticize you. So we're going to keep doing it because it's the right thing to do. But there are some knuckleheads out there that just kind of make it annoying.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, a lot of it seems driven by like,
nut swingers.
That or just
technically speaking,
regret for poor life decisions or something. I don't know. Like,
well, it's if you're a
I
a
get
Tony
it.
Chick nut swinger, then you'll never be happy with anything but that, and which is fine. We
There's-
have nut swingers.
There's always the people defending, like, you spend a good chunk of money on a product you bought. You want it to be the best on paper as well. So I guess find every hole you can poke in everybody else's.
Yeah, but at some point you're in the realm of like the bizarre. You're taking bizarre positions.
Yes.
And literally lying or
Ignoring facts.
ignoring blatantly obvious truths, provable truths. So, yeah, I mean, people do lighten their cars to go fast in the quarter mile. That's a thing our customers do, and it's a thing every tuner does as well. So, deal with it. All right, we got a lot of good questions coming in here. When will you come out with a tune for B9 S4 to support an aftermarket turbo? We don't have a date on that yet, but soon, and definitely a high priority here at 034 Motorsport. So, I'd like to say definitely by the spring, but sooner.
The B9?
Yeah, it needs to be sooner.
Yeah.
But we have the cars, we have the turbos, we have the tuning capabilities and technology here.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, if the stars align, we might have a little more info by the end of the week.
yeah, but I mean,
Some power-wise, but that's not going to be a refined tune.
Thanksgiving, Christmas, the last couple months of the year are never the most productive.
It's rough getting everything scheduled and coordinated around the holidays.
Yeah. Someone says, I had a carbon fiber open air intake from 034 for my 8V83 and got impounded for 30 days due to me not having a carb legal sticker. Is there an update regarding that?
Yep.
Yes. We are in the process of getting our intakes carb certified.
Yep.
And I believe we will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, we've already got a test completed.
And we did confirm that we can send out stickers. We believe. We can send out stickers
It's
to anyone who has our intake that's been carb certified.
yeah, if it's the exact identical intake to what we test, which it will be.
Yeah.
We haven't made changes on any of those in quite some time.
But I'm assuming you were speeding or doing something like that, which sucks. Listen, I do it too. But once you speed and you break traffic laws, you open yourself up to everything and anything. Your front license plate missing, various modifications to the car, your exhaust is too loud. The police can take you to task for anything when they're not necessarily going to pull you over because of your intake, because obviously they can't even see you have it. But if you are breaking traffic laws and you get pulled over, if you have weed in your car, so you just have to be. It sucks that this happened to you. I'm sorry, but it's the chance anyone takes. We will do our best to get stickers out, and assuming that there's no.
As long as we're able to, yeah.
Something we heard was that we might not be able to. But there's no logical reason why.
Grandfather. Yeah.
There's no logical reason why we wouldn't be able to. So. So start from the top. Any B8 SQ5 products coming out soon? Yes, we have an S34 intake, which we will release very soon. I think in the next week or so.
Yep.
What else?
We are working on advanced launch control.
Advanced launch control.
I think that's the next question.
CFA.
For the CF8 that we're working on that a bunch this week, hopefully. So should have some more news coming soon.
Yep. We have a bunch of stuff. We're looking into brake kit options for the SQ5s in general. Our 20 by 10 wheels fit the SQ5 really nicely. The 21 by 10s. But for sure the intake. So keep an eye out for that, and the tuning. ZF8 developments, B8, B8.5. How's it coming? It's the same question we got.
Well, B8, B8.5, those are not, I mean, I guess if it's the Q chassis, then yeah, that's the same question we just answered. We're working on it actually a lot this week. So hopefully we'll have some more news soon.
Yeah. B8.5 S4 Stage 2 Plus running 034 TCU ECU is a much harsher 1-2 shift normal As soon as I flashed over, I noticed 1-2 shift is not as smooth, but seems much firmer.
So those are two different things. Firmer, yes, should absolutely be a lot firmer on the 1-2 shift.
Harsh is hyperbole.
Harsh is, yeah, that's a little different one. But usually, if it's a harsh shift, it's oftentimes it's something moving the driveline.
I don't even know what a harsh shift is.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what.
Like harsh means that it like hurts your ears or it makes you uncomfortable physically in some way. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's no easy way to deal with shifts. The faster they are, the more you feel them.
You're gonna feel something. I mean,
It's just
we
physics.
could throttle the shift in a very OEM slow way, and then you're gonna have a much slower car.
If you want to take the opposite of firm, which would be a soft and smooth shift, we could spend 30 seconds shifting from one gear to the other, and you'd never even know the car was shifting. But like, if you want to go faster, you want to spend less time shifting, you want to spend more time accelerating, then that means you're going to feel the force of acceleration and the shift over a shorter period of time. And that's what you're feeling. So what you're feeling is performance. That's what you bought. That's what we're giving you.
Somebody noted it's during a wheel spin shift usually. Well, yeah, that's going to get all weird because it's impossible to make a smooth shift, happen while you've got four tires, blazing on the pavement. It's you cut power to do the shift, even though it's very quick cut. Those wheels are going to dramatically slow down. You don't have any momentum keeping them going. It's just you're just overpowering the friction basically. So that friction just hauls those wheels down in a hurry when you do the ignition or the load reduction from the engine, and all of a sudden your shift point is thousands of RPM off, and the engine's going to basically get yanked down to that lower RPM. So,
Yep. And that's just an issue with wheel spin. Yep. Wheel spin isn't very fast either.
Yep.
B9, but yeah, I mean, you're getting more wheel spin because it's stage 2 plus. It's making a lot. Yeah. So yeah, you can work on reducing your wheel spin, maybe with better tires.
Adjust the launch point, but
adjust the launch point. And then also use your throttle.
I was just gonna say the right foot will also affect that. So these cars, they're a lot of torque very quickly off the line, and I can roll into wheel spin on my, in first gear pretty much whenever you want. So.
Yeah. When do you think the full TCU tune for stock turbo B9 will be released? Soon.
Very soon. We are wrapping up porting and like this week. So we're gonna have a release imminent after we validate all that. All the actual calibration work is done. We're just getting all the different TCUs set up.
B9 S5 with stage 1 R2.0 tune. I've noticed a possible bug with the engine sound in individual mode with engine sound in dynamic. On a fresh start, the car in D mode, you don't get crackles.
Yeah, this is it's unfortunate, but it's literally how it's supposed to work. The factory on the factory ECU will always revert to a quiet exhaust on startup, and we'll leave it there. You can do this with a stock car too. If you're in dynamic, you're in individual, you shut the car and you've got flaps open and things are louder. Shut the car off for a given amount of time, turn it back on, it's going to be back into a quiet comfort style exhaust sound. And you got to go basically out of that mode and back into where you were to get the exhaust note back. So it's a factory thing. At this point, we don't have an easy way to override it.
Yep. Sorry. That's just a function of the factory ECU.
Yep.
I have a B9 S5 and I'm having issues with my fans running at full speed.
Yeah, we have I think one or two guys mentioning this now.
This is we know about this on one particular box code.
Yep.
You need email tuning.
We're isolating it. Like Jawad said, email tuning at 034motorsport.com and we'll help you out.
Will you guys release a B8 S5 lowering spring product? I don't know if we're currently planning on doing that. We weren't sure how many people wanted that or how that market was, but
it's such a low volume compared to the S4.
Yeah, I don't know if we will. If you guys really want one and you'll buy it, then of course we'll do it.
Yeah, springs seem simple, but it takes a lot of time and back and forth and testing and setup to get those just right. So
no, I don't think they seem simple. Maybe to you.
It's a coil of wire. Some people think there's just some simple things to it. No,
But there's
they're-
like 50 on the market, and they all 50 do different
yeah,
things.
yeah,
So.
or various levels of terribleness.
APR R Stage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We have that
We've
stuff.
got some other stuff
Yeah.
there. So yeah,
Can I install your tunes with a Mac, like a
Macintosh.
Macintosh computer?
Yeah.
MacBook.
We do not recommend it. I'm, with the large caveat that a lot of people have. It
You
depends.
can
It depends how you're
literally-
set up, and if you're booting into an OG bare metal Windows installation off of it, it should work fine because it's basically a Windows setup there. But
You can buy a laptop for $300,
laptop like half that'll work fine.
$150.
Yeah, it's almost ridiculous how cheap some basic
eBay,
Windows,
Amazon.
Windows 10 laptops are these days.
Yeah, or I don't know. Lot of companies, they have like extra. Go talk to your IT team, see if they're like
Find
want
like a
to get
surplus
rid of
laptop,
some.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people that work in IT, and
Yeah.
there's just like piles of stuff that they're trying to get rid of.
So I mean, if you like really know what you're doing and know how to dual boot the thing legit, then it'll probably work fine. But we don't. It's nothing we can support just because it's not an off the shelf thing that we can stand behind and offer support for.
Why don't you make a front sway bar for the Mark V platform? At the time when we tested with it, we felt the rear sway bar that we had was a really nice combination of handling with the front factory sway bar.
Yeah.
We haven't focused a lot on that chassis since. It's possible that we could come up with a front sway bar that makes the car handle better. I don't think we'll be doing that. That's just too far back. We're basically Mark 7 and forward. Actively speaking, those Mark 5, Mark 6 applications are kind of out of our window of development at this point. Those markets are on the decline, big time. ETA status for 4.0T motor mounts, they are in production, so it's going to be probably Q2, probably realistically probably like May or something like that. So we'll try to get them out sooner than that, but and we're also working on or looking into doing a motorsport, more performance oriented version as well.
Yep.
Those could actually be sooner.
Oh yeah, that stuff
Because,
that's
machining billets pretty quick.
billet's a lot faster in the smaller runs than obviously getting the castings and moldings done.
I heard you guys last week say that the CREC motor is great, then heard you say it's problematic. Did I buy an $80,000 piece of junk? No,
It's not problematic.
Well, I don't know, $80,000?
That
sounds like a
that's
lot.
an expensive CREC.
Maybe you paid too much,
Well, I guess,
but it's not
I
a piece of
guess
junk.
the A8 has the CREC, so maybe you went that.
I don't know.
But no, it's not problematic. The only problem we've seen is just the supercharger clutch.
Yeah.
Is not able to withstand full dual pulley ratios and supercharger speeds. But that's not problematic. It's just a potential limitation that we can.
Is there
overcome.
anything else that we came up with? It's just not as popular.
There's just
not that
out
many
there,
of
yeah,
them.
that are in like the performance oriented.
You'll find the amount of supports lacking.
Yeah.
That's probably your biggest issue. But the car itself is
The
perfectly
motor's
fine.
amazing. I would love to have that motor in
It's a great motor.
S4 for sure.
Bigger intercoolers,
Yeah, way more fueling. out of the
dual
box.
stage injection.
Yep.
Yeah. So
I think better cam setup. There's a couple of other things we were going through the list. Yeah.
yeah. What are your thoughts on pedal tuning boxes? All right, get ready for the bleeper. Is the sensors
But I don't have a yeah. So
beep beep
yeah.
beep beep?
I get lambasted with them on like Facebook. I get ads for things, and every time I report it as fraudulent scam.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not really much more than that to do for most of these.
Even Gail Banks is hucking them.
Oh man,
There's obviously money in them.
there's money in them. They're
So we've talked about this before. All they do. Well, what was the question?
what are your thoughts on them? I think was all it was. Where'd it go?
The pedal box. So like the sprint booster.
Yeah.
So it's a device that intercepts the electrical signal from the accelerator pedal to the ECU. And so let's say the pedal is at 25%. So you push it down to 25%. What this box will do is it'll intercept that signal, and instead of telling the ECU that it's actually 25%, it'll tell the ECU that it's 50%. So it can double the opening or ramp rate of the actual throttle body. Because remember, the pedal is not connected to the throttle body. There's an ECU in the middle. And so now these tuning boxes or pedal boxes intercept themselves between the pedal and the ECU, and they lie to the ECU, which forces the ECU, it has no choice but to open the throttle faster. So the idea behind these is that if you are used to pushing your foot down to 25% and experiencing 25% acceleration, that if you push to 25% but you experience 50% acceleration, some part of your brain will think that your car is actually faster. If you're a complete idiot, you'll think that. If you're like a reasonably smart person, you'll realize that this makes no sense and that your throttle is now useless, because instead of 25% equaling 25%, it's now 50%. And if you wanted to go 50%, you would just push the pedal down 50%.
That's the great thing about the pedal, is it goes all the way down. Like these boosters or these modifiers cannot make your car faster. There's physically no way they can make your car faster.
So at what point, is it just idle or wide open throttle? I mean, that's the logical conclusion is, if doubling the throttle rate's better, then let's just have the throttle open all the time to feel really fast all the time.
And that's what gets me about these, is they're always marketed as like performance boost or a performance enhancer. What they could and should be probably marketing is a economy mode. That's like the only thing it could functionally realistically do, where you only get like 50% pedal. You only get a very slow transition.
If they did that.
If they did that.
They don't do it.
And that's where it might serve a function, but it's not a performance product in any way.
Yeah, no, it's stupid. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I was trying to think of a corollary, but
there's nothing you can do that you can't do with your foot.
Yeah. So I mean, we don't recommend buying them. We don't recommend using them. They're really dumb. But this particular company, Sprint Booster, I remember they came out a long time ago, like the early 2000s at least. I mean, basically when drive-by-wire came out in the late 90s, early 2000s, and they're now acquired. They had a huge booth at SEMA. It's this massive. I don't know how much money they probably do, like $50 million a year.
It's so disheartening,
and they do them for every freaking car now.
Yeah, because
it's the same.
Do anything.
Same pedal for everything. So. But yeah, it's silly. Use your foot wisely. Have a brain. Don't
stay in control of your own vehicle.
Don't smoke crack. Don't do drugs. What big turbo do you guys recommend for the B5 A4? I know you guys have a lot of experience with the platform.
Yeah.
Well, I would say the best all-around turbo that I would recommend, if you're looking for a fast sports car type experience, would be the GT2867, I believe it is. So that's and it's not a brand new turbo. It's been out for a while, but this is a billet wheel Garrett turbo, which is basically a GT28 RS disco potato with a better compressor wheel, better aerodynamics, and higher flowing. And so this on like 91 pump gas can get you into kind of the 250 to 280 wheel range, and then with good fuel, you could get up into the 350 to 375 range, that's a quick, fast A4 with good spool up characteristics, not super laggy. There are kind of eliminator drop-in type, but I'd recommend doing a V-band, get a V-band manifold and do the V-band turbine housing.
Yeah.
That's going to be the way to go. It's going to require custom tuning, custom everything. You're going to need a big intercooler, free-flowing intakes. Those cars, to even get to like stage 1 B8 S4 level, you need like fabrication. You probably need rods in your motor at least. So, but I really like that turbo. If someone, I'm never building another 180 again. But if someone put a gun to my head, be like, give me a 2-liter 92.8 stroke and that turbo.
Yeah, that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and that's a nice A4 setup. You don't need to mess with valves. Those heads flow great. If you can stroke it, great. Definitely do rods. The 1.8's pretty anemic, unfortunately. But sorry, Nick.
He does love him some 1.8s.
The 1.8 Great T.
Yeah.
1 point Great T. Is that what? Are you working on a hybrid turbo setup for the B9 A4? No, we're not.
Not currently, no.
We will eventually, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I wish more people were modding and tuning B9 A4. It's such a great car.
It's a really good platform.
It's a really nice car. Really, really fun, good handling car with the DSG.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Aram. Should not have gotten it. But,
That manual is so
since
weird.
you have one, rock the shit out of it. But
The gearing on that thing is just
no, yeah, it's like
really strange.
such wide.
It's like 60 plus miles an hour in like second gear or something like that. It's
At least,
crazy.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, we're faced with B9 3.0T, RS5, 2.9T. We got Mark 8 coming out, and for some reason, I think the B8 S4 just kind of eclipsed the B9 A4. So if you think about it, like when B7 A4 was very popular, but the alternatives were B6 and B7 S4s,
Yeah.
which were just normally aspirated V8. So what are you going to do with those? So everybody dove into B7 2.0 T tuning, and it was great. We did a ton of 2.0 T A4 business, a lot of great products for that platform. But the B9 came out, which is eons better than the B7 A4. I mean, there's no comparison. It's such a better car. It's faster, it's better looking, it's more comfortable. And unfortunately, the B8 S4 was out. Unfortunately for the B8 A4.
Yeah.
And the B8 S4 it's just a tuning phenom. So you'd be stupid to focus on a B9 A4 if you could have 550 crank horsepower in a B8 with $5,000 of bolt-ons. So yeah. I don't know what to tell you. If you have a B9 A4,
Yeah.
there's not much going on.
Yeah, I mean,
And from us,
maybe the market will come around, but it's been a pretty slow adopter.
I think it's going to be a struggle because
There's a lot of really good options that are already a lot of the way into what you'd get into.
B8 S4 is not going anywhere. B9 S4 is as potent, if not more.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the B9 A4 will be the stepchild, and probably
Unfortunately, because it's a
unfortunately.
really good chassis.
It's just Audi just happens to have a lot of amazing tunable cars out right now.
Mm-hmm.
I would have, we would have killed for a B9 A4 8 years ago.
Yep.
Let's see. Do you foresee any improvements on the B9 S4 S5 with bigger injectors or upgraded fuel pump with stock turbo?
Yeah, there's certainly a little bit left on the table in the mid range, but it's going to be really little.
And we're pulling
really minimal.
We're controlling the power. As is.
Yeah, we could in theory get a tiny bit more out of the mid range, but it's and that's on fully ED5. It's so negligible that it's
By far the biggest limiting thing is the stock turbo right now.
yeah.
So
Yeah, no, I don't know that it's going to be worth doing all that just for a little more on the stock turbo. The hybrid stuff, the bigger wheels for sure.
whatever happened to the summer release of 2.0T Flex Fuel Catch Can? What's that?
B8.5. I don't know if we ever said we were going to release in the summer.
I'm
not sure where that.
I don't even know what a Flex Fuel Catch Can. Oh, this is the B8. B8.5
Yeah.
A4
Yes, flex fuel.
catch can for flex fuel
It's like
cars.
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Not a catch can for flex
Yeah,
fuel.
it doesn't catch flex fuels.
This is done. I believe it's just in manufacturing. It will be released soon. I don't know about summer release. We've been mentioning it for a while, but
We try not to set hard dates
we never announced a
especially
summer
this year
release.
because it's been just insane trying to
But
get something.
everything's delayed. Everything's backed up. Manufacturing globally in the U.S., in China, in Taiwan, in Germany, and the UK and Russia. Everything's delayed because everything's connected now. So, but it is done. It's in manufacturing, and I believe, I don't know if Nick's listening, but maybe Nick should know when we're planning on releasing that. I have your stage 1 tune, your X34 intake, and I am about to install your transmission mount insert. My car is a 2018 Audi S4 B9. What would be the next mod you suggest between the ResX, X-Pipe, or CAT? A high flow CAT's going to be related to you going to stage 2. So if you want to go to stage 2, you're not going to have much choice. You got to get a CAT. ResX is something that I would recommend with the CAT if you're looking for an exhaust that's on the loud, aggressive side. Things do get a little loud with both. If you want something that's slightly louder, but not, I would say, aggressive, I would say do one or the other. So if you're going to do the high flow CAT, I would keep your stock exhaust intact. If you're going to keep the stock CAT and stay stage 1 or stay 1 plus, then get the ResX. Combined, they double the sound output essentially. I personally really love the sound of the 3.0T with the high flow CAT and the stock exhaust. I think that's really nice. It has a kind of an exotic sound to it. And I drove our car around for a while with both, and it's on the loud side.
Yeah.
And some drone does get introduced. But I believe you'd have this with various exhaust options on the market as well. If you haven't done any handling mods, I'd strongly suggest looking into those. Our sway bars and springs, if you put both of those on the car, it completely transforms the way the car handles and drives and feels. Yeah. Will rolling anti-lag be a feature for B9 3.0T?
Yep, that's likely something we'll be introducing.
Yeah, this is all features that are in a future release update. Thoughts on stud conversion kits for RS3s for regular track duty? Abso-friggin-lutely. We offer studs. We're coming out with a new line of really nice studs, what I feel are like the best on the market. Studs on track cars are great because it allows you to easily and quickly swap wheels and tires without having to try to line up the factory bolts. No, it's the way to go. I think most cars should have studs anyways. I prefer studs on any of my cars. But definitely when you're on track, it's nice. As far as strength goes, it's not really an issue.
There's not really a difference there. Yeah.
There is the added benefit though of like, God forbid, if you didn't torque your bolts or your nuts, once the bolt falls out, your wheel falls off. There's not saying this is like a sure
this
thing.
Isn't the reason for
this isn't the reason, but if all your nuts fall off your studs, you're gonna have like maybe a couple seconds of the wheel kind of bouncing around on the stud, and you're gonna feel that.
If somehow all the nuts come off, yeah.
And the wheel doesn't just go flying. At the first,
emergency
moment.
wise, there's also generally a lot more thread that the nut would have to back off of.
Yeah, you'd feel it
before you have an issue.
You start feeling things
before your nut exits the building.
But God forbid you're running a factory bolt with any type of spacer, and you've only got like 3 or 4 threads engaged.
That shouldn't be doing anyway.
You shouldn't do that.
Don't do that.
So many people do.
Yes.
That's a recipe for disaster. So that's the other nice thing about studs is you want to do a 5 mil. If you have the right length stud, say you get our 2.5-inch studs. You want to do a 5 mil spacer. You want to do 10 mil. You want to do 7.5. You want to do 12. It doesn't matter. The studs will accommodate any kind of spacer arrangement you have on there up until they don't. But bolts generally aren't that forgiving. You need kind of a bolt for a spacer.
Yeah, because the problem is you can't run a longer bolt.
Yeah.
You end up pushing it through the spindle or through the hub into the spindle. And you start contacting metal, which is very close behind.
You remember what would happen on like 4000s and B3, B4s?
The self-clearancing problem behind there, yeah.
You'd like, oh, this wheel bolt's like an extra 1/2 inch long. Tighten it up. You go for your first drive, and it's like ka-chung, 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 and it's just like hitting like I think it was a brake caliper carrier.
It was
just like tearing itself apart.
It was bad. Yeah. It was like casting nubbins that you're removing. And then your bolt's all messed up and you can't get it out.
Yeah,
That's the best part.
Then it could even like take out your hub. Then you'd have to send your hubs out to have them drilled for 5x112.
Oh my god, things are so much easier now.
So much better. Hi, I'm sure it's been asked, but if I flash a tune on my car, can I remove it and then put it back on to get around smog? I'm in California, so my fear of getting flagged during smog.
I mean,
hypothetically speaking, you need a stock file to pass California smog. So if you put a stock file on your ECU, you will not be flagged.
yeah, I don't know what car this is in regards to. We have and we'll be releasing very soon the certifications for the carb for carb certification for all of our B8 3 liters.
Yeah.
All supercharged 3 liters that we sell, and almost all of our 2 liter files up to this point. So. Yeah, we've got coverage from most everything that's out there right now.
But as long as you have a stock file on the ECU.
And that's right. If you get a stock file on the ECU, you're good.
Yeah. So as long as
that's always the case.
Your tuning solution allows you to flash back to stock, then you will be able to pass. It was interesting. I was surprised how few cars have been flagged so far.
It was
like 600.
Yeah, total.
600 total cars in California have been flagged since this started in July.
And then they were saying they're testing 1 million a month.
Yeah, 1 million cars a month get tested, and 100 have been flagged. So
600.
No, per month.
Oh, per month.
1 million per month.
Right.
100. It was over 6 months.
Astonishing.
100 cars per month.
Small amount of.
So yeah, 100 over 1 million, and calculate that percentage. The way people freaked out in the aftermarket, people were talking about like moving from California, and that California is falling into the ocean and stuff. So it's affected 100 people per month, and I can only imagine what these cars, probably have.
But no, we'll have full.
Certainly none of our customers.
Yeah, we have full carb tested files that'll be on the servers very soon.
B9.5 3.0 T release update. So we've posted on social media this morning asking for a 2021 B9.5 3.0 T test car.
We're basically imminent on release. We need a test car here, or cars,
just for some added,
just to get some final numbers and tweaks done.
So if you have a 2021 B9,
can be a S4 or a SQ5 or S5, whatever. Contact
us. In exchange, we will give you a 034 Motorsport development car as a loaner.
Yep.
And a free tune.
Yep.
Once finished. This is one of our final checks. Just
yep.
Aside from the cars in house that we're already using. So yeah, email social at 034 Motorsport.
Social or tuning at honestly anything. Just hit us up.
I wouldn't email contact because that just goes into our customer service.
Social at or tuning at.
But if you email social, we'll get back to you instantaneously because that's the marketing team sees that.
Yep.
Or respond to the Facebook post on our
and we can usually in situations like this, if it's a pain for you to get here or something, we can usually pick up, help you out in that way too.
Yeah. So I just want to take a quick minute to address something that's been coming up in our customer group. I don't know how many people watching are in our Facebook customer group. We do have one. And so, we had internally, we debated a little bit about whether we wanted to create a customer group, because inevitably it becomes a short circuit for customer service. And instead of going through our normal customer support channels, which is emailing contact at 034 Motorsport, people would come to our Facebook page and expect to be served there and not go into our customer service ticketing system, which is how, as a company, we do customer service here. So inevitably, we created the customer group. Frankly, it's awesome. It's a great place to talk anything 034. It's remained a very positive place. People do come there with complaints and issues, and if they're not customer service issues, then we allow them to stay, and we will interact and discuss with those. I know I respond to a lot of stuff on there, all hours of the day, at night, on weekends, on Sundays. Yesterday, I think it was either Saturday or Sunday morning, someone posted about asking if we're going to have a Black Friday sale. And so I simply responded saying, we don't announce sales before they happen. we announce sales when they're live. I'm pretty sure every other e-commerce retail company on earth does this. I'm not aware of a lot of companies that say, "Hey, we're gonna have a sale in a month, everybody." And so this particular person took real offense to that, and they basically said that I didn't answer their question, and that our group has become a place for censorship, and
That's what they were.
and that we don't help people on the Facebook page, and like, what's the point of having this Facebook page? And there was some disgruntledness about us not being willing to do customer service there. So I responded and I simply said, I did answer your question. We don't announce when we do sales, and all I can do is ask you to respect that. If you don't like it, I'm sorry, but we're not going to start announcing sales 3 weeks before they happen or a month before they happen. That's not something we're willing to do with the business that we own and run. But if you'd like to go start a business and start announcing when your sales are going to be a month in advance, knock yourself out. I didn't say that part. And then the whole thread ended up getting removed because it did follow the group's guidelines. So I just want to address the one point about customer service. We are very good at customer service. We pride ourselves in good customer service. As the president and CEO of this company, I spend a lot of time and energy, and it's a very high priority for me that this company is known for good customer service. As a result, we have a growing, thriving customer service team. We have a tuning support team. We have hardware support. We have tech support. And we also support customers who are asking questions about our products, who are interested in buying our products, or, want to know more about our products or have questions about our products. And I think we're up to like 10, 11, 12 people now in that department. These are full-time employees who are all here. They all sit together in one area and at our facility here. I'm actually looking out a window onto this area. We just had a new person start last week. We use an email ticketing system where customers email in, and their emails are prioritized on a time basis and when they arrive. We start with the newest ones and we work our way back. For the last several months, we've had approximately a 24-hour response time, a 2 to 3 day resolution time, which means the customer is helped and assisted and that ticket's closed out within 3 days or less. We'd like it to be faster, but we're very busy, and a lot of the issues customers have aren't super simple. But this is how we do customer service. If you come onto our Facebook group and we start answering your customer service questions, you're now outside of our process. You're outside of the company's official way to assist customers. That's not a successful way for us to serve over 10,000 customers a year. We have over 10,000 people come through our ticketing system per year. The marketing team and me, we don't work in customer service. We don't have access to to our RMA system, to the email ticketing system, to the knowledge base, to the various policies and procedures that customer service uses to assist customers fairly across the board. So if you're going to ask us to go outside of the way this company does customer service, we're going to direct you back to the best way we know how to do customer service, which is putting you back into our customer service email ticketing system. And that's why we even stopped taking phone calls this year, because phone calls are great. They're cool. You get to bro out on the phone. But meanwhile, it's slow. It's not traceable. It's not documentable. And so when you come back in 3 weeks saying, oh, you told me this or that, it's just a phone call. It's gone. When it's in an email ticketing system, we can go back. We can see who said what. If we have great people in customer service, but God forbid someone loses their mind one day and is rude to you, it's going to be in the ticketing system, and we can go back and review it. And we could say, don't ever treat a customer like that. You're fired, But if it's he said, she said stuff, it's problematic in a number of ways. So we're here to help. We're here to offer great customer service. But this idea that because we don't do customer service on our Facebook fan page means that we have bad customer service. I'm sorry. I'm gonna tell you what I'm telling you right now, which is that's wrong. You're wrong. We have great customer service. Send us an email and find out. these kind of like ideas get created where like, someone it's a logical fallacy, and it's kind of like, well, you don't do this wrong thing, so you must not be good at these other right things. And it's like, no, these have nothing to do with each other.
Or your perceived world and how the customer service or interactions should work. There's a lot of reasons we do things the way we do, and it's been years in cultivating the most effective method, and it may change in the future, but everything we've done and that's led us here is for a reason, to get you the best support you can as quickly as you can, as accurately and with minimal back and forth as possible. So
you know what's like, have you ever been on I-80 and you see like a semi with McDonald's on it? So you follow that guy to the truck stop when he's going to fill up with some diesel, and as he's getting out, you're like, I want a Big Mac. Like, guy's like, oh, I just drive the frozen parts around to the. No, you work for McDonald's. I see you. You're right in front of me, and you need to sell me a Big Mac right now. And when you come to our Facebook group and start demanding customer service, it's kind of ridiculous. It's just as ridiculous as asking the semi driver to give you a hamburger. That's not his job. That's not where you get the hamburgers. You need to stop at one of the other 1,000 locations that you drove by and get a hamburger there. So anyways, just wanted to address that really directly, and make sure you guys know, like, it's not a mistake. We do things very purposefully. Our Facebook group has clear rules on what the group's there for. You agree to it when you sign up and you're accepted to the group. All we ask is just follow the rules. We're not being disingenuous. And yes, if you post in the group and it goes against the group's rules, we're going to delete it. That's what moderation is all about. Otherwise, the Facebook group is going to turn into whatever it's going to turn into. And we have a specific intention and purpose for that page. And we're going to moderate to make sure that we keep that. Okay? All right. Someone's asking, are you guys slowly phasing out parts for the C4 chassis? I've seen that you guys used to offer more for the chassis, but over the years, it seems that they've been removed from your site. So I'll answer this very clearly. We do not phase out product lines. We phase out individual parts that don't sell. So if there are C4 parts or B5 or B8 or B9, and those parts aren't selling, or the sales slow down, then we will discontinue them. If there are great parts that sell like crazy, I don't care if it's for a 1977 Fox. We're going to keep selling it. I mean, we're here to sell and ship products. So there's no concerted effort to discontinue C4 parts. As long as you guys keep buying them, we will keep stocking them. But once you stop buying them, we do discontinue them.
Yeah, we can't just have like an infinite, back stock of parts going stale sitting on our shelves. So yeah, we've only got a finite amount of space to put everything.
I would say we still sell more aftermarket performance parts for the C4 S4 than any other company on earth. If you'd like to find another one and email me, I'd love to see it. That actually has them. I think the 2 Bennett page, like their website from 1997, has a lot of stuff on there, but I don't think they actually offer any of it. So the stuff that's on our site is typically in stock, available, current product. Actually, everything's current product that's on our site. But we still have chip tuning, and we still have big turbo tuning packages. We have big turbo kits. We have motor mounts, transmission mounts, diff mounts, many different types of accessories, wheel stud kits, and so we have a lot of products for the C4 still. Performance products, If you're talking about OE parts, we don't sell OE replacement parts. We still have like silicone radiator hose kits, right. Intercooler hose kits.
Have a lot of the critical stuff still that was kind of an Achilles heel.
Steel throttle body cams, which have been knocked off by various people. So we still have a lot of stuff.
Yep.
People are telling me not to get a flash tune. They're telling me to get my B8.5 S4 dyno tune, but now I'm confused and don't know what to do. You're talking to some dumb people. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah, I mean, this comes up. We've answered this a couple of different times, but I mean, these cars aren't easy to tune, and there's some pretty fundamental limitations in the ECU that have to be overcome that have nothing to do with the calibration. Well, they have everything to do with the calibration, but they're outside of what you can do in the calibration. And it's a lot of hours and a lot of time to sort that out and get it working correctly. Now, you might be able to pull off like a stage 1 file, but why would you get it custom tuned for that?
And the chance of this stage 1 file being developed on a dyno,
it being more refined and more
versus our file, which has 7 years of development, testing, and thousands of cut. Like, there's this kind of fallacy out there that a custom tune is better than a properly developed and engineered off-the-shelf tune, which is completely false. This is like you go to your buddies and you say, I'd like a good Irish stout, and I'm thinking about getting Guinness. They're like, no, you don't want Guinness. That's mass produced. You want to like have someone in your town brew some Guinness for you. Like, okay, well, the chance of someone brewing a really good beer at home, it's very small. It does happen. I've had some delicious home brews, but I'd say 9 out of 10 times it's pretty crappy, And Guinness has it down to an art. They have a factory and a facility. Everything is precisely controlled, tested, and QC'd before it hits your lips. And, is there a guy out there that could brew a really good beer? Yeah, I'm sure he's out there. But that doesn't mean everyone who brews their own beer does a better job than Guinness. Yeah. Apply that to whatever. If you don't like Guinness, I'm sorry. Apply it to whatever concept you want. But these custom tunes, when you have a standardized package of parts on your car, so you have a B8 S4, you have various, supercharger pulleys and serpentine belt pulleys, and you have certain type of exhaust and intercooling modifications and intake. We have a package for that, precisely engineered and developed for that package of modifications to your vehicle. Now, if you have...
and not to mention, we have 91, 93, 100, 104, and E40 octanes for every one of those packages.
Highly developed, highly refined, highly tested files that are proven to be the best in the world. Now, if you have a B8.5 S4 and you mount a GT45R onto the supercharger and you have a twin charge system and you're spraying nitrous, okay, well, you're going to need some kind of custom tuning, right? That's where custom tuning comes in, and good luck finding anyone in the US that could properly tune that. But that's when custom tuning is required, is when there's no off-the-shelf solutions available. But when there's an off-the-shelf solution available by a reputable company like 034 Motorsport, it's always going to be the best option over custom tuning. We have heard this and seen this so many times where customers come to us and say, I had some guy custom tune my car, it runs like shit.
It shifts terribly, or some other, there's some other issue.
And they end up buying our canned off-the-shelf file, which doesn't sound that exciting, but it's actually the most exciting option out there.
I mean, just think of like the hours involved and the amount of time that's put into the given file on your car. Say the guy spends 3 hours in the dyno to dial in your car. Like we're maybe they've sold 4 or 5 of those files. We've literally been refining this, like Javad said, over 7 years with, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of hours on the dyno, on the track, thousands and thousands of cars that have,
world records
that, it's
so many happy customers.
Yeah, it's an extremely refined setup.
So, I would recommend these people that are telling you this, have them come watch what we just said and see what they say.
Yeah, I mean, like, if there's a reason, like, I'd love to hear it. That's founded in some sort of, like, data,
Now, I mean, if you're talking about, like, I don't know, super chips or some eBay thing, no. I mean, that's not what we're talking about. I mean, there's a handful of companies.
There are terrible canned files.
There are really bad ones. But there's a handful of reputable companies in this industry. And I mean, I'll even say the APR file is good. The integrated engineering file is good. Unitronic has a good file. These are good off-the-shelf solutions. We'll state unequivocally that ours is the best. But those are good, reliable options. You could use any of those various choices. But then it just gets worse from there, So you do have to be careful. But listen, if you have a guy that can custom tune your car, let us know. We'd like to hire.
Yeah, if you can do it better than we can, and then you can do it on dyno.
Good luck finding someone who can do it. There's just a handful of people in the U.S. that can do it, and most of them, I'd say 90% of them, work for one of the companies I just mentioned.
Yep.
But have them come watch this clip. I'd seriously love. Then I'd love to hear what they have to say.
I'd like to know what the argument is on it.
Yeah.
I mean, these cars these days, it's back in the 180, 270 era, that held a little more weight to it. Those cars were narrowband O2 sensor cars.
Yeah.
They had a limited range of processing
Well, it was
power,
virtually the only option.
adaptability. Yeah, so yes, you could generally get a fair bit more.
Like an AB
Performance, yeah. If you go back
pretty much
to
need a
like
custom
180, you basically needed a custom tune because they were,
Is that like a Fast and the Furious thing? Like, nah, bro, you need a custom tune.
yeah. I think it needs to be.
I could just see like Paul Walker. Yeah.
Now these days with the modern cars, it's becoming more difficult to get a dyno tune result that's going to be better than a lot of the, like Joel said, the competently calibrated files out there.
Yeah. We're running out of time, but can you explain why the B8 S4 overheats so easily?
So it's not the engine overheats; it is the air temperature reaches a point where it's just
The intercoolers.
the intercoolers can't keep up. So the temperature of the air going into the cylinders is way higher than what would be ideal for performance.
And they don't overheat stock. I mean, they're reasonably well cooled stock.
Okay-ish, yeah.
Well, just like any other.
Just like any other, but
Just like anything.
They do. I mean, the heat exchanger is woefully undersized as well, so they're at the limit stock.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the ability for the intercooler inside the intake manifold to cool the air off enough during long sustained loads, and it's tough because they're so restricted just dimensionally in that intake manifold as to what you put in there.
Yeah.
Some have tried other intercoolers to date. I think stock is still far and away been the best performing, but it's just limited by dimensions. So you got to do a whole new intake basically to get around that, which is not a cheap endeavor.
All right, let's try to tackle. What do you got? Is it possible to pair your B8.5 S4 TCU tune with an APR ECU tune before going full 034? I'm currently on APR Stage 2 dual pulley and want to try your TCU tune first.
It's possible. The ECU to TCU interaction is very critical on these cars, and you are not going to have near the shift quality you likely will with ours. You also are not going to get any of the advanced launch stuff that our files will take advantage of. So,
but they could do it as
they
an
can do
intermediary
it.
step.
It'll function. I don't know how well it will feel. So, if you do our TCU and you're like, oh, this doesn't shift very well still, a lot of that is from the ECU. So don't discount it if you just do the TCU and not a matching ECU.
Yeah. If it helps spread out the cost for you, we do have a upgrade program. If you want to email tuning at 034motorsport.com,
Yep.
they'll be happy to quote you what your price would be. The whole kit would be substantially less.
Yeah.
Contact that.
Yeah. If I had to hazard a guess, I would honestly say flash the ECU first. If you're concerned about shift quality, it is probably going to make more of a change than the TCU.
There you go.
If you're running someone else's ECU.
You heard it from the guy.
Just because, some of those limitations I just spoke about earlier, with regards to the custom tuning, dramatically affect how the TCU shifts.
We have time for one last one. Your 10-second world record B9 S4 shift points are in the 5,500 RPM range. Wouldn't holding the revs to redline give you better times and higher trap speeds?
Nope.
No, definitely not. That's why it's the world record, is because we're shifting at the optimal point in the RPM to allow the fastest acceleration.
Yep.
And that means shifting so that we're back in the meat of the power band to continue accelerating at a higher rate. So that these engines, because of the stock turbo, actually make substantially less power after, some amount less power after 5,500 RPM. So the rate of acceleration actually drops off the higher you rev. So our engineers carefully analyzed the factory gearing and acceleration rates and picked these shift points.
Yep.
And again, it's why it's the fastest. So,
and we've been saying this from the beginning, is the stock with the stock turbo, you do not need to rev any higher than you can stock. And honestly, to be faster, you want to shift at an earlier RPM than the stock redline, which is, I know it's counterintuitive, but math.
Well, it is, but also accelerating more is intuitive.
Yeah.
If you accelerate more, you'll go faster. So why not shift at a point that gives you the most acceleration possible?
Yep.
And the proof is in the results. I guess we could do one more.
One more. Yeah.
Hi guys, with the 3.0 TFSI B9 fuel pump being so hard to manufacture, a higher pressure pump, is there no electric pump that could be used instead?
The B9 pump isn't hard to manufacture.
It's not hard.
It's the same as all the other high pressure pumps out there.
Someone messed it up.
Yeah,
but, it's not hard.
the company that was doing a pump earlier had some issues that has nothing to do with manufacturing a high pressure pump in general.
How many horsepower would a high pressure fuel pump need to be electric?
I was just going to get to that. Doing it in there's a reason no OEMs do a high pressure electric pump. It is.
I mean, it'd be like a starter.
We're talking like 200 bar of pressure on most of these to mid 200 bar of pressure. There's very, very, well, I can't think of a single electric pump that'll do that.
No.
You need a piston. I mean, it would be an electric pump driving a piston.
It would be a custom.
So, why not just...
You could install like a 10 horsepower electric generator, like a table saw motor.
Yeah. To drive literally a piston pump, because it's going to have to be a piston pump to...
It would be a piston.
To seal at that pressure, so...
Yeah. No, some of the BMWs have belt-driven pumps. It's still driven off the engine.
A separate, yeah.
Yeah, a separate pump. But no, there's no electric. Go look at the prep. I mean, you're talking about 5 or 6 bar versus 50.
200.
200 bar, So
I'm talking
it's not even
2 to 3,000 PSI.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even orders of magnitudes.
Yeah, it's
orders of
way
paradigm.
up there,
Yeah. So... cool. All right. Well, I think we're out of time, everybody.
Yep.
Thanks for joining us. We have some questions left over for next week. So if we didn't get to it this week, tune in next week.
Yeah, there's some back and forth on Instagram. I saw, why aren't you answering my question? Can you read it? Please scroll up. Like we have
an hour.
Multiple people here that are kind of collating all these for us and putting them into a document that Javod and I are reading from. We're not sitting there scrolling back and forth on the various platforms that we're messaging on. So don't worry, we've got
you. Be able to walk and talk at the same time.
We'll try to get to it next week if we didn't this week.
All right. Well, have a great week. We'll see you guys next week. Cheers.
Take care.